The first year of me running my own business, I did $450,000 in revenue. And then the second year was 900 and something thousand dollars. So pretty much $1 million, my second year in business. What I always say is, you might not want to work with me now, but maybe in the future you will. Yesterday, I just picked up the keys to our 24th location. So we've got 1,700 plus private offices at locations.
This is the Commercial Builders Network, where trust is restored, power is reclaimed, and legacy is built. Let's get to work.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Commercial Builders Network. My name is Tanisha Reed, and I am your host. And today we have a very special guest, Chiko, the owner of The Perfect Office. He is going to drop some gems today to you all inside the commercial real estate space. Let's go. Welcome, Chiko. How are you today?
I'm perfect. How are you? That's the question.
I am awesome. I am awesome. Blessed to be here, and I'm grateful to have you with us today.
Yes.
Can you please introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and what are you known for?
Well, my name is Chiko, and I am an entrepreneur, to keep it short, but pretty much I am the CEO and founder of Perfect Staffing Solutions, Perfect Property, and also Perfect Office Solutions. Did you want me to go into detail in terms of like what those are?
Please. Absolutely.
Sure. Well, I mean, Perfect Staffing, which was the first company I started, is a staffing agency. And basically what we do is we provide professional staff to organizations that need temporary staff. And then Perfect Property is a property management company. And then Perfect Office, which I'm really excited about sharing with you all today, is a co-working / flex office space that pretty much provides flexible office spaces for entrepreneurs. We do that in an affordable, professional, and flexible way.
Yes, and I am honored to say that I am one of those special people that have been able to take advantage of your success and the seeds that you've planted. So I'm grateful for you. So thank you so much for your vision.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So can we get into what got you into the commercial real estate space, and how did you get inspired to start Perfect Office?
Yeah, so I actually got into space by accident. I mean, I've always kind of been interested in real estate, but mostly really residential real estate. But I got involved in Perfect Office because, like, the first company I started, which is Perfect Staffing. When I was starting that company, I started looking for affordable office space, but I couldn't really find anything. Everything that I found was like $2,500 a month, or they wanted you to sign a long-term lease, and they wanted to look at your financials. But me at the time, I was 26 years old. I just quit my job. I had $1,000 to my name, so I didn't have any. I couldn't qualify for anything. But I ended up running into a listing I saw online that said something about like co-working space, flex space, or something. And I clicked on it, called the guy. He was available to give me a tour. He gave me a tour. It was like 20 like office suites basically, right? And I was like, this is interesting, but they provide 24-hour access, Wi-Fi, and things like that. So I signed up for the space. It was like $750 a month. And so when I was in the space building my staffing company, I realized that it was only me coming into the space. And I had asked the owner, I was like, hey, look, you mentioned something about having other entrepreneurs that would use this space. I only see myself and 2 other guys, and there's 20 offices in here. At that point, he told me, yeah, we're kind of having some issues or some challenges getting more people in here. And I was like, really? I know a lot of people that would be interested in this. And at that point, I said, hey, can I help? And he was like, yeah, sure, you can help. Yeah.
I'll take some free help, right?
Exactly. And that's how it kind of started. And then like 6 months later, I helped them fill up the whole space. And then they came back to me. They were like, hey, since you helped us fill out the space and you're managing most of the tenants in here, how about we share the revenue? I said, sure. I'm already in there running my staffing company. I was like, hey, since I'm here, sure. And then while I was doing that, and then I read up about the landlord, I noticed that they had multiple other buildings. So I pitched the idea of, hey, why don't we do something like this in multiple of your buildings? But they said that they weren't interested in that. They were more interested in government contractors or bigger organizations that are more stable. They didn't want to deal with short-term renters or smaller tenants. So that's when I came up with the idea. I said, hey, how about this? How about I be a big a tenant and rent out a big space from you and divide them into smaller spaces and rent them out to entrepreneurs? And they're like, well, we trust that you could do that because you've already helped us fill up. We've got a space in Beltsville that's vacant for a couple years now. Do you think you could do something with it? So I went over, looked at the space, and didn't look like much, but I was like, you know what? I'm excited about this business opportunity. Let me try it. Got the space. It was 26 offices. And then from that space, we expanded from 26 to 46 offices. And now that location has like 96 private offices at that location. And we've expanded from just that location to yesterday, I just picked up the keys to our 24th location. So we've got 1,700 plus private offices at all the locations.
That is awesome. And it's crazy because it's like they missed a wave. Because now renting out office suites is like the thing. And like you basically started this. You started it by accident. Like you were on the wave. Because what year did you start this?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I started it for sure. I realized, I thought this was something new, but I realized this industry has already existed. You have huge organizations that actually have thousands of locations. I figured out that there's a company that has 4,000 locations worldwide. Yeah. So, but yeah, I started in 2014.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been 10 years now.
10 years now. Wow, you're a vet. So it's interesting because I did have a company that I would just lease them for the address, right? I told them they will never get my money again. I mean, their contracts were ridiculous, and all I was doing was renting. It was something crazy, $200-$300 a month just to have the address for one of these larger name ones. And you can come and visit every once in a while, but then I don't know, something about the contract just.
Because we do that too.
It starts with the R.
Regis.
Yeah, but it was something trying to get out of it. I don't know. It was something that was weird that I just I don't know, like the opportunities for how much I was renting from Regis, I can get the base office with you almost. So I'm like an extra couple $100. I might as well have my own space compared to me just to rent your address. And now there's another place I just use the address for $10 a month.
Right. Which one is that one? Is that iPostal or Anytime Mail?
Well, you're getting close. Scan Mail. That's
okay.
I was planning on leaving.
Post-scan
mail. Yes.
Yeah. See, we know all of them because we're on their different platforms, and we're actually like if you look up our space, you'll find it on there because we offer those same services too. It's almost like those platforms are almost like an Amazon for virtual addresses. So you have a lot of different companies, including ours, that they partner with. So we provide the actual service at the location, but then they take most of the cut.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I use the DC address. There's only one address in DC, and I use that for one of my businesses.
Hey, I mean that's how it works. That's how it works. But yeah,
okay,
but
so awesome.
but that company that you mentioned earlier, they were the company that's originally known for this idea of flex space. And they've been in business for 40 years now, and they have over 4,000 locations. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. So what made you want to start it in Maryland? I mean, are you going to expand past Maryland? Because I know you started because of the.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is this. First of all, again, it was totally by accident. I'm over here running my staffing company, and then ended up helping my landlord. And I'm like, you know what? I had this same issue in terms of finding affordable office space. There must be a market for it. So then I get involved in it. And next thing I know, we're opening up locations after locations and serving entrepreneurs. And then we just kind of created a niche for ourselves, which is basically just affordable, professional, and flexible. So our leases are very, very affordable. I like to say like we're the Walmart of the industry. Anyone can go into our space and get something. It's not it's not your Louis Vuitton, and it's not your McDonald's. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like your everyday type of entrepreneur, and that's why we cater to all entrepreneurs too as well. We don't just restrict it to just quote unquote professionals. We also have creatives, we have estheticians, we have all types of individuals just in our space.
Yeah.
And we fight for that because not all the time landlords are excited about that, but we fight. Speaking of that, I have to go to court and fight some more next week, but it's a constant battle because most landlords do not understand that dynamic in terms of being able to be flexible with hairstylists or barbers or even creatives being in their space. They just most of them want just the 9-to-5ers and that's it.
And that's what set your space apart, was that I was able to make it my own. Not too many places that you can actually create your space. I think I did pretty all right.
Yes, you did.
But to make it your own feels like home, and it makes you say, I'm going to stay longer instead of hopping from office to office. Because if you can't customize it, then it's like, I'm going to grow out of this space sooner than later. So it actually made me, because I was at your Rockville office when that first opened years ago, and I had the baby office then. But it's, it served its purpose. I practically lived in there because I just would stay all day, get there before traffic start, leave after traffic because I lived an hour away, and I did that intentionally so that it forced my grind.
Nice,
So,
good.
Yeah.
And you mentioned something about do we plan to go out of Maryland? Yes, we actually have 3 locations in Virginia.
Really?
Alexandria, Fairfax, and McLean.
Okay.
But yeah, no, the goal is to continue to expand. If I get it the way I like it, I would love 500 locations in the U.S. alone, and then start expanding outside of the U.S. So, yeah, we want to be everywhere that entrepreneurs are, and that's everywhere.
At any point during this journey, did you hit a breaking point that made you feel like,
I mean, all the time.
This isn't it? What am I doing?
I mean, all the time with the numbers, the finances, all the time with the tenants, different things come up. You already know.
Yeah.
All the time with the employees,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's part of running a business. You're going to come up against a lot of different things that either you don't expect, things you don't like, but you gotta keep moving. Really, I've already made a decision that this is a product and service that entrepreneurs need and want, because I know I had that same need. I had that need, and I'm just like, you know what? I can't focus on everything else that's going around or trying to stop me from moving forward and sharing this good news of affordable, professional, and flexible office space. I mean, that's why we just keep moving. A lot of times folks are like, wow, you guys are moving fast. Yeah, because it's needed. Entrepreneurs need the space, and we got to get out to all of them.
So, understanding that this is something that entrepreneurs need, aside from that, what is your why that you tap into deep down that keeps you
why,
going?
really, honestly, is just providing value, honestly. It's like, again, it's something that I went through as an entrepreneur looking for affordable office space, and I realized, I mean, think about it. I realized how vital that was for me. So it's like, so for example, I was 26 years old. I had worked in corporate America for 4 years, being a recruiter. And as I was doing that job, I was like, wow, man, this is something that I'm really good at. I like it. I enjoy it. And if I'm getting paid $35,000 or $40,000 to be a recruiter here, I think I can, and I'm bringing this organization in $3 million, $4 million. I can probably go start my own business and make 6 figures.
Mm-hmm.
My first business plan was just for me to make $150,000 a year. That was my business plan.
Well, you certainly
Yeah.
surpassed that.
Right. So, and when I got on my own and got an office space, right, I was there every day, all day. And I was like, wow, they're not kicking me out, I had free Wi-Fi, 24-hour access, free parking. I was there all day, every day. And I think the first year of me running my own business, I did $450,000 in revenue. And then the second year was 900 and something $1,000. So pretty much $1 million, my second year in business. So I didn't have to worry about the overhead, the cost overhead of having an office space. I think that really helped because it helped me to be able to invest money in hiring properly, invest money on supplies and tools that I needed in order to be able to really scale my business. So because I know that, and that changed my life for my business, and that right, even before I started Perfect Office, I had 40 to 60 employees that I was that I hired, all from having something that was affordable that allowed me to scale. So for me, every time we open a location, and mind you, a location has like 40 to 60 private office. I'm thinking in my head, this is an entrepreneur that's going to get in here, create some type of value that's going to benefit their community. So that's really why I do it. I mean, I've already met my goal of $150,000 long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
So how is it being a minority in this space? Like, has it been tougher for you? Has it been something you just saw right past?
Yeah.
Well, tell me what it is being.
I mean, I think the thing is in life, there's always going to be challenges. There's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be advantages and disadvantages, So, but you can't focus on them. You know what I mean? You just got to hey, it is what it is, and just figure out what you need to figure out to move forward. Yes, I'm sure there's disadvantages. Do I care? No, because I'm going to accomplish what I want to get accomplished regardless. It might mean that I might have to put in a little bit more time. It might mean that I have to do a little bit more convincing. It might mean that I have to maybe put in a little bit more of a security deposit because the landlord, I've encountered some really weird stuff. I'll tell you that. But I don't let it bother me. I've encountered some really strange stuff. Some landlords won't rent to me because I'm a single black male. You know what I mean? And some will because I am. So
Yeah.
hey, but I
win some, you lose
again,
some, right?
I don't focus on that, So I just keep moving. What I always say is, you might not want to work with me now, but maybe in the future you will.
Yeah,
I've had
for sure.
landlords in the beginning that were like, no, and then they're like, oh wow. I've even had a landlord that we moved into the space, and he was just trying to figure out a way to get us out. And then COVID happened, and their biggest tenant, which was Walmart, couldn't afford the space, and Walmart moved out. But we stayed, and we paid every single month, never asked for any abatement, never made any excuses, always paid one day before the rent is due. That landlord ended up buying another building, the building you're in actually. And guess the person that they called? They called us. They said, hey, what floor would you guys like? We want you all to be our primary tenants at this location. And we made it happen. But that's a situation that started with the landlord not being too friendly, but now the landlord loves us.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
but imagine if I caught an attitude then or ruined that relationship, we wouldn't have this opportunity to be in another building.
And that's very important, is maintaining relationships. You just never want to burn a bridge because you just never know who you might need in the future. They might need you. But that relationship, business is business. And sometimes most times you need to take your feelings out of it and just say, okay, what's next?
Yep.
Tackle what's in front of you. And as a culture, that's very important because we tend to be very emotional when we make our decisions and take things personally. And I really want to tap into that because for me, I want us to start building more and getting tapped into this industry. And it's not necessarily a game that our face is always in, but how do we get in and how do we dig in and how do we see past those obstacles and say, okay, I'm here to play. I can play ball too.
Yeah, just do it, honestly. Don't wait for someone to give you permission. Just do it, honestly. Because in business, the cool thing about business that I like is that just you provide value, you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just an exchange of value. You're providing somebody with something that they want and need, and they're just exchanging with, monetary exchange. If I wasn't providing an affordable office space to entrepreneurs, they wouldn't be signing leases or paying us. You know what I'm saying? So it's an equal and or greater exchange.
Yes, for sure. What's some advice you give to somebody who would want to be in a similar space?
Yeah, no, I would say learn the space as much as you can, and dive in, because there's a lot more stuff you're gonna learn during the process that it's gonna be hard to kind of learn, or it's gonna be hard to learn ahead. You can always learn the general gist of how the business works, but I think it's the details that makes it really, understanding, I guess.
So I guess like, was it failing forward? Like get out there, jump out there and just kind of like, is there any tangible things that you think that they should do as far as how to go about funding and lending and its opportunities? Is it just building relationships for seeing there where there's a need? Maybe you see a vacant building and they're like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I've been seeing it empty for a long time. Maybe I can get in touch with the landlord and see, how I can assist, and maybe we can broker a deal.
Yeah, again, I say research and figure out exactly like what, because so many different things. There's so many different things that you can do. For us, we're focused on being affordable, right? So for me, what I need to do is go to a landlord, negotiate a good deal. A deal that works for them, but a deal that also works for me, so that way I can turn around and offer a good price. Because if I go into DC right now, let's say I go into DC and I try to broker a deal, it wouldn't work for my customer base, because my customer base, they don't want to pay $2,000 for an office space that we're offering for $500, $600. That's not my customer base. That might be another organization's customer base. I know where we want to stay, and we want to offer, we want to cater to the everyday entrepreneur. And the everyday entrepreneur is not spending $2,000 on office space.
Yes, sir.
They're spending anywhere between $500 to $1,000. So we do our best. I do my best to try to negotiate deals like that and be in locations that work. And then at the same time, operational wise, trying to figure out ways to balance the cost operationally, so that way we can deliver a good service. So it's a lot of moving parts. But
Yeah.
I would say if somebody's interested in getting started, I would say just get started small, and then just learn and scale along the way. Start small, but you don't have to stay small. My first space was like what, 8,000 square feet. But nowadays I wouldn't do 8,000 square feet, because it just wouldn't work financially. If I need to cover the cost of employees and things like that. But in the beginning, it could work, because my first space only had 26 offices. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And with 20, if you could do the math. With 26 offices, let's just say, I don't know, 8,000 square feet. And let's say the landlord is charging $25 a square feet. So you take 8,000 square feet, you multiply $25 a square feet. That's $200,000 a year in rent. If you divide that by 12 months, that means you got to come up with $16,000 every single month. Now, if you only got 26 offices to work with, what's 16,000 divided by 26 offices? That's about $641 a month, right? And just expenses for the office space. Okay. Now, you haven't even added employees. You haven't added internet. You haven't added, snacks and conference room and all this stuff. So now if you add that, let's just say another $250 a month, you're looking at $891 a month. Now the question becomes, those 26 offices that you have, Are you going to price all of them at 891? No, you want to kind of like stagger them because some might have a window, some might not. So now you're in a situation where some might be 799 non-window and then like maybe 899 or 999 window. So just a lot of situation that goes with that. And when you have less offices, it's less of a square footage, you have little to work with than when you have a bigger space where you have 50 offices, 60 offices, and like our Baltimore location, we have 120 offices. So then you can really stretch things out and still keep it affordable for the end
Everyday
user.
person. Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, this stuff that you learn along the way, which it's hard to. I didn't know it. I was just like, you know what? My numbers are not working. So I was like, okay, maybe let me go bigger. Yeah, going bigger is scarier because now you're looking at $30,000 a month in rent. Yeah. You're looking at, I think our biggest location, $70,000 a month in rent. Yeah.
Big boy.
and we gotta cover that. You get what I'm saying? And that's just one location.
Yeah.
Right. So, and at this point, you can't tell a landlord, hey, give me a couple days. No. This is due on the first of the month.
Yes.
Because if it's on the second, interest kicks in. So now you're owing more.
And we have a grace period for the tenants. So regardless if they pay or not, you still owe the money.
Still got to pay. Even in COVID, when tenants were like, hey, bye-bye, it's a mandate. I'm glad that we were physically responsible where, we weren't splurging any money, where we were able to take care of the landlord, but at the same time also take care of the tenants. Because some of the tenants that wanted out of their lease, guess what we did? We said, okay, if you want out of your lease, go ahead, put in your notice. We'll honor it. And we did honor it.
For that, is there a certain amount of percentage that should be cash reserves for in the case that they have these kind of situations that you need to make sure? What would you say that cash reserve percentage should be about?
I mean, at the end, it really doesn't matter because it depends on the crisis that you're in. If it's long enough, you're not going to be in business. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if it went any longer, trust me, we wouldn't have been in business. Because, you got employees that want their money, you have a landlord that wants their money, and then you have tenants that are not necessarily paying on time or have, situations. But luckily, we had enough offices where it might be 1, 3, 4, 5 tenants that might have an issue, and the others might not, so it's just kind of balanced out. And we were I've always been very conservative when it comes to spending money. So it worked out for us during COVID. Actually, during COVID, we were able to reinvest and doubled from 8 to 16 locations during COVID. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So when it comes to staffing, how did you find people to buy into your dream and keep pushing when you started?
You pay them?
I mean, of course. Some people don't have a budget to pay people right off the bat. So were you soloing in the beginning and then you found one person? Was it family?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. But look, no, nobody's going to buy into your dream regardless. I don't care if you're Martin Luther King or anything. If you're not paying somebody, they're not buying into nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you got to pay people. So no, in the beginning for staffing, I soloed it. I think what I did was basically, even though I had are you talking about perfect staffing or are you talking about just perfect office in general?
Perfect office in general.
At that time, I had money to pay people.
Gotcha.
Perfect staffing in the beginning, what I did, it was a recruitment company. So what I did was I staffed myself out to clients. I was like, hey, there's clients that are looking for temp staff.
Right.
Yes, I happen to starting a temp agency, but I can be the first employee. So what I did was I staffed myself out to this technology company that was looking for a healthcare recruiter, and I had a healthcare recruiting background. So I staffed myself, and because when I went to go sign the contract, Well, no, what I did was I was trying to get a contract. I didn't get any contract. So I started applying for jobs. But when I would go to the interview, I would say, hey, look, yes, I'm interviewing for this role, but the organization that represents me is Perfect Staffing. So I'm a temp of Perfect Staffing. So if you do decide to move forward with me, the staffing organization is going to get involved and let you know what their rates are. So, and at that point, I went to an interview. They really enjoyed, they liked me, so they wanted to move forward. And at that point, they let me know. So I said, get in contact with the staffing agency. But when I sent the email to them, I still had my name. They were like, hold on, aren't you the same person? I was like, yeah, but. So they were like, whatever, what do you want for your hourly rate? So I was like, at that time, I used to make, I think $16 or $17 an hour. And I was like, maybe I should just double it. Let's just see what happens. So I said $30 an hour. And they came back. They were like, we can't do 30, but we can do 29. So let's go, and I was in there.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they pay every 30 days because I'm a contractor, because I have to send them my invoice. And that was fine. I just went 30 days with no money. And then, but when the money came in, I was like, wow, this is good.
Nice check. Right.
So, and then I was, so the 30 days that I was there, the vice president called me and said, hey, I need to meet with you. Well, okay. So we got in a meeting. He was like, hey, I noticed your numbers are way better than 10 of my employees combined. Is there a way you can get more people from your staffing agency to come in? I said, yeah, I could do that, but they won't be at the same rate as I am. I'm at 28. The rate would need to be at $40 an hour. He's like, whatever you need it to be, you've performed, and if you're the one teaching them and training them, they need to be in here. I said, how many do you need? He said 6. I said, sign it. He signed the agreement. And then that weekend, I just went downtown Silver Spring, and I was just like, hey, look, how much do you make? Oh, you make 15? How would you like to make 20? You make 12? How would you like to make 20? And I got 12 people. They met me in the office that weekend. I taught them some stuff and said, hey, look, guys, we got this contract. I need some people who are willing and able. I'll teach you whatever you need to learn, but I need you to be willing and able and professional. I got 6 people. And then when I went in the next day, I said, hey, look, I've got the 6 people. They can start later on this week, but I need you to give us our own office. Because I know if they knew or saw those 6 people, they would realize that we did not know what we were doing. So, but what ended up happening, they gave us our own wing of the office. And we, so I was in there. I was like, guys, look, those folks out there, we got to perform better than them, So, and then I just we taught them. 3 months later, they were crushing it. And then at that point, I sent the letter to I sent an email to the vice president. I was like, hey, look, my team is outperforming the whole department. I would like to end my contract, because I wanted to end my contract to go back in the office and start making calls for new clients, just in case, to diversify it. And at that point, I left that situation, went back in the office, and hired an assistant. That's when I finally hired an assistant. And then we started just looking for other clients. And the end of that year, that's the first year, did $400,000 in revenue. The beginning of the following year, we did $800,000, no, not $900,000, but without that contract, because they ended up hiring all my employees. After a certain amount of hours, I in the contract, they can hire my employees for free. So I never thought they were going to reach that hour limit, but all 6 of them went on with them. And I'm glad I came back to the office to diversify my client base, because we got other clients, and we went from there.
Wow, that is a powerful story.
I'm giving you all the story.
Man, you got all the good stuff. Yeah, I appreciate it. That is awesome, awesome. Do you have a mentor, or is there a specific book you started reading? How are you able to I guess not only just scale, but have this mindset of just building and growing, and like, where does that come from?
I mean, I just read a lot, and there's a lot that I want to get accomplished, and I'm always trying to be better today than I was yesterday. So, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I don't want God, who created me, to be like, man, you were just a waste of energy. I want him to be like, wow, I mean, I created you with this amount of potential, you know what I mean? But you exceeded that potential, in terms of just like, yeah. And that's just that's just me. That's just how I am. I've just always been like that. If there's something I can do, I want to do more than just that. That's what just drives me every day. I just wake up every day and just try to see how I can add value, how I can be better than yesterday, how I can just use up my energy. You know what I mean? In a good way. So that's just what it is. Even for the companies, I've never had to borrow any money. I started with that $1,000, and that $1,000 has grown to what? All three companies will probably do what? $15 million this year, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Crazy, right? You got to put your mind to it. Pick up that phone, make them calls.
It's a matter of just doing it. Stop making excuses. What is it that your heart's been set on? What are you purpose to do? A lot of times people don't think about the fact that if it's blessing other people to move forward and push forward, God's got to stand behind that. Like,
of course.
It's going to move when it's something that's bigger than you. Now, if it's all selfish and you just want to make the money and you can still make the money, but it's different when your heart is behind it. Like, things that are unspeakable will come out, and favor works in hand. So that's awesome.
It's different when you're, if you're providing value, it's just going to be something that lasts. If you're not providing value, it's a gimmick, it's a scam, it's only going to be for a short period of time. But if you're providing value, it's going to be something that continues to scale. You just got to be willing to put the work behind it, because I think that people always ask me, what's the secret? I always say the secret is WORK. You got to work, and you can't take, you got to take it serious. I don't even think I've really ever taken a day off, really, honestly. I don't. If I go somewhere, it's still work related. Yeah, sometimes I do take a day off, but not in the beginning. When you're trying to really get something started, I think I probably went 8 or 9 years working constantly, 6 to 7 days a week.
This isn't an overnight success, people. This is hard work. A lot of people think that they're going to just get rich overnight and they don't have to put the work in. It is time to get up. If you want more, do more. To stop complaining that the woe is me and the have and the have-nots. You don't have it because you're not going after it. And it takes time.
Yeah, and it's just, I think it's just taking time to get to know yourself. Because you got to understand that you were put here on earth to add value. And if you don't understand that, then you're going to be lazy with everything you do. You're not going to be intentional. But if you understand that you're here to provide or add value, understand who you are, understand whose you are, I think it just makes sense. It makes, you're not, I tell people when they come here, you're not working for me. You know what I'm saying? This is an opportunity for you to work for yourself. Like, I've never looked at, even when I had a job, I never looked at it as I'm working for this guy or I'm working. No, this is an opportunity for me to hone in my skills. Yes, I'm also getting paid for it. Cool. And I didn't care how much I was getting paid. I really just wanted to get the motion going in terms of learning and things like that. I looked at it almost as a paid internship. Hey, I'm getting paid for this internship. Because I wasn't going to be there forever. I was going to go start my own thing, and that's just kind of how I've always seen it. So I don't think I've ever said that I was underpaid, because I was like, whatever. I'm just here to learn, and I'm going to go start my own thing, and then I'll be paid based on the value that I bring to the world.
And I think that's important for those who are working 9-to-5 jobs that desire to be an entrepreneur. Work at your job as you would want somebody to work for you.
Yep.
Take those notes of things that you're learning at work and see how you can apply it into your own business.
Yes.
Because if you're not on time at that job, you're not going to be on time to your
No.
own business at all.
No. Not at all. Yep.
Because it's that much, it's 10, 20,000 times more work. And sometimes I wish I was like, maybe if I just didn't have a bigger call, and if I could just clock in and clock out somewhere sometimes,
Right.
life would be just so much easier.
It is. I mean, having a job it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. It's less stuff that you have to deal with at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. You clock out and go enjoy family time. When you own a business, a growing business is not the same. You know, you got a lot more on your shoulder. You got a lot more people to deal with. You got a lot more problems. But you also have the opportunity to have a lot more fun, a lot more, resources, all that, you know what I mean? Which makes it all worth it. But
Absolutely.
you definitely got to put in the work. It's no joke. And like people think being an entrepreneur is just sexy. Yes, but
Yeah.
you got
There's
to.
always something to do.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Always.
yeah.
Always. That's why I'm
Yeah.
here all the time.
Yeah. But I love it. I love it. It's part of.
Yeah.
It's just who I am. It's just I couldn't do anything else.
Yes. So, lastly, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. If there is one thing that you feel like you need to do to take your business to the next level, what would it be?
Think bigger. Honestly, I think even me, and I think most of us, we think too small. You know, we are thinking based on our experiences, and when we do that, that means we really don't have any faith because, faith is just believing in something that you don't quite understand, right? And leaving it to God, right? And also work, because it does say faith without works is dead. So
Yeah.
you got to put in the work. But, I would say if I can think bigger, then that would help me to be able to move in a better way. Yeah. I think I'm thinking small. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I wake up, I'm like, you're just thinking too small. You're thinking too small. You need to think bigger. So I think that would be my thing. Learning how to think bigger and then executing on that expanded thinking, and don't celebrate what others think is a success. Acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Because yes, we just picked up the keys to our 24th location, but why are we not picking up the keys to our 100th location? You know what I'm saying? Am I taking too much time to celebrate the win when we got entrepreneurs out there that are looking for something like this, but we haven't got to them yet because we're too busy celebrating? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you think, and it's a follow-up, would it take for you to step outside of your business?
What do you think that it would take for me to step outside of my
Yeah,
business?
you personally. Yeah, because part of a lot of times scaling and getting to that next level is being able to make sure you have enough people to allocate those things. Because I know you, Chiko, you like to put your hands in everything.
Yeah.
And you want to
If
touch
I'm excited
everything.
about it,
What is it going to take for you to get yourself to the next level? Because that's just what it's going to take for you to scale to that level that you really want.
yeah, I mean, I think the thing is this, that we're growing, which means that we have more resources and we hire individuals that take care of different things that I used to take care of. So that's me slowly getting out of my business, but I'm also slowly getting into my business in different ways, like in terms of expansion, in terms of construction, in terms of, motivation, in terms of, things like that. So I don't think I'm ever going to get out of my business, but I'm going to be able to get out of different tasks that I do within my business. But I'm just excited about it right now. My other two businesses, you can say I'm really out of those because I have managers that kind of manage those, and although they're a little bit smaller, but I don't really get into the day to day with those. But this one, oh yeah. Because I see this still has so much potential. This has so much potential, and it's where I feel more excited about right now. And I think we could take it everywhere. I think we could take it to Miami. I think we could take it to Atlanta. I think we could take it to California. I think we could take it to New York, Ohio, Midwest. I think we could take it everywhere. So I'm excited about, at least seeing the foundations of that before I get comfortable. You know what I mean? I don't think, yeah, I'm not ready to take my hands off the wheel yet.
How do we follow you? Where do we follow you at? How do we support you in your dream?
Yeah, so I would say, I mean, the easiest way to follow me, I'm on Instagram. So that's the platform that I use right now. Instagram. I'm sure I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, but I really don't, yeah, Instagram.
Instagram.
Or just call me. But the way to support us is just letting any entrepreneur know that we're here for them. Perfect Office is here for them, whether they just need a virtual mail address, whether they just need a membership to be able to use the conference room and lounge areas, or whether they need a private office. We have it. It's affordable. You wouldn't have believed how affordable it is. But it's awesome, and we want to continue to expand and serve more and more clients. Right now, we have about 1,500 tenants that have offices, and we have about 5,000 virtual mail clients.
Oh,
So we
wow.
want to get that. We want to scale that up to 10,000, and eventually 50,000, and 100,000, and a million one day. So it's possible.
Thank you so much, Chico, for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Commercial Builders Network. I hope you got something out of it. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Share with somebody who is looking to elevate inside this commercial real estate space. Let's build something great together.